Okay, so here I am back at the database catalog here. So um, the way to access EBSCOhost, there's actually a couple of different ways to do so. So you notice here there's a database called Academic Search Complete. And then after it, in parentheses, it says EBSCOhost. What EBSCOhost is, it's basically, I mean, it's as the name suggests, a host for lots and lots and lots of different databases. So it's kind of like um, an interface where it aggregates all the different databases that you could search in. So one good one to look at is Academic Search Complete. So I'm going to click on that. And this is what you should come to. So I'm going to scroll down. Before I even type anything in here, there's a couple of parameters I want to put on my search. One is I want to limit my results to full texts, meaning that it's going to show me sources where I can read from beginning to end. If I don't click that, sometimes it'll show you sources that are only like the first few pages or the beginning part of it, and we don't want that. We want to be able to access the entire thing. So you click on full text. If you wanted to make it even more specific, you could click on scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. What that means is that they're going to be sources that were found in academic journals that were written by experts in any given field, and usually they're for audiences of other experts in that field, but before they can even get published, they need to be reviewed by other experts to make sure that whatever it is that this person is saying in their source, it's actually valid, it's truthful, it's good. And if it's not, they send it back to them and say, this is inaccurate, you need to work on this. Person will go back and work on it and send it back in, and if it's good, then they'll be able to publish it. But I'm not going to click on that because that will limit my results a little bit too specifically right now. But something else I want to click on, so you notice over here on the right hand side there's it says references available, and then below that it says published date. I want to limit my search results to just things that were published within the last 5 years. That's pretty good, to keep it relevant, to keep it contemporary. So I'm going to type in 2015, and then I'm going to put over here 2020. Okay, so the last 5 years for whatever it is that I'm going to search up. And for now, those are all the parameters I'm going to put on it. But I am going to click here where it says advanced search. So I go back up to the top, and then in my search field below that, it says advanced search. So I'm going to click on that because we are advanced. And now we have the advanced search, which has 3 different search fields. What I'm going to search for is online learning. So that's something that I'm really interested in right now because I am thrown right into it, just as we all are. So I want to learn more about this because it seems it's going to be a bigger feature of teaching in the future, especially the immediate future. So I want to research about that. Now I'm going to type in online learning here, but because I want to make sure that these 2 words are found together in my source, I'm going to put quotation marks around them. So I want to make sure that whatever sources I come up with are going to have these 2 words together. Otherwise, if I don't do that, it'll find a source that might have the word online in it, but maybe 100 words away from the word learning. So they're not like the same thing, right? Online learning is something very specific. So I want to make sure that they're included together, so I'm going to keep quotation marks around that, and then I'm going to see what I can find. Go fishing, as it were. Okay, so I got some stuff. Search results. 25,072. That's a lot of articles and sources to sift through, so I want to make sure to narrow that down. Now I can go ahead and just kind of cruise through a little bit. I might find some stuff immediately, but I still want to narrow it down a little bit. So after I'd scrolled through maybe the first page or 2, seeing if there are any good sources there, I want to try to narrow it down a little bit more. Now I've heard online learning referred to as distance learning. So I'm going to put that in quotation marks again because I want to make sure that it's finding these two words together as the phrase. And so you notice here, in the first one it says online learning, and then here it says and it's a drop-down menu. Now these are what we call a Boolean search. So if I keep it as and, it's going to find sources that have online learning as well as distance learning. So both of those things together. But I could say or, because in some cases it might be, sources might say online learning and other sources might say distance learning. And then I could say not. So if these two things were maybe, if I want to distinguish between the two, maybe there are distinctions between distance learning and online learning. So I want to make sure, okay, let me go ahead and search that and see, I don't want distance learning, I want online learning. And then that's, it will give me some results. But I actually do want both, so I'm going to click on both. Come on, big money. Oh, that's kind of anticlimactic. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So, okay. So we narrowed it down. It's about half of what we had. So that's actually more specific. But you know what? It's still kind of a lot of stuff to sift through. So let me see. What's another way I can think of this? I've also heard it referred to as distance education. Now again, I'm using quotations to make sure that this phrase is together. So let's see what we can find here. Oh man, okay, so it's actually not really that different. It might actually be the same exact number. So what I would need to do, if I'm still having trouble narrowing it down, is I might want to actually take a look at some of these different sources and see, and also here they have, they have a little description of the source. It says subjects, and then, okay, teacher's assistants, distance education, education of student teachers, so various different phrases that might be included in there. I want to figure out the language that people are using to describe this idea. So that's something that I would need to think about. Are there other ways that I can narrow this down? So let me think here. What got me interested in all of this to begin with, as you all well know, is the global pandemic, right? So I'm going to see if I can narrow this down a little bit and be more specific with that. So I'm going to type in COVID-19. Now I'm going to keep it as just no quotation marks because it's one word or treat it as one word. So let's see what we can find. Did I press? Okay, here we go. Oh, 18 sources. Okay, so that is kind of really specific, but I can cruise through, see what we have. But say I get to the bottom and I'm like, oh man, there's not really anything there that's what I'm looking for. Now, chances are there actually are, but so maybe what I'll do is get rid of this distance learning thing and try it that way. Okay, so that gave me 53 sources. That's a little bit wider. And it's still a manageable number. So I can go ahead and cruise through. Now, just for the sake of example, I'm going to choose this one, The Online Learning Divide. Here is the title of that article. It's written by Katie Riley, published in Time Magazine, only about a month ago. Gives you all the publication information. Now, you could click on the HTML full text, but I'm going to actually suggest if you have the option to click on the PDF full text, because then it's going to show you the source exactly how it appeared in the publication. So in this case, it's Time Magazine, so it's going to show me exactly how it looked in the physical print magazine. So I'm going to click on that. So let's wait here to see while this loads up. But while we're waiting, you'll notice on the right-hand side there are these different buttons. This first one, you could click that if you wanted to import the article to Google Drive. So if you have a Google Drive account, you could do that. This one, if you want to print it. So if you have a printer and you prefer to print it, you can do that. This one right here, we have the email tab. This one right here, add to a folder. So if you wanted to maybe create a folder and arrange all your different the particular sources you found in different folders, so you can keep track of them. That's an option for you. Cite, so if you click on that, it'll give you the citation. But if you do that, I'm going to actually suggest you verify it with Little Seagull Handbook, because 9 times out of 10 they're wrong. Not 100% wrong, but there's something in there that's wrong. So you'd want to verify it. Export, and then permalink. One feature that I'm going to just, emphasize is the email one. So say you read through the article, or you read through part of it and you're like, oh, this looks like it's going to be useful. I want to keep track of it. What you would do is click on that email button, and then so it's going to email it from the Long Beach City College Library, but of course you want to send it to yourself. So you type in your email address, and then you could go ahead and put a subject line. So I'm just going to put the title of this particular source. And then if you wanted to add a little description of the source for your reference, that's a good thing to do there. And then you just go ahead and press send. And there you go. You have the source in your email. So that's a good way of keeping track of your sources. So I definitely recommend that you do that. So I'm going to just show you guys what this looks like. So they had some images, how it would appear in the actual magazine article. And then you'll notice that it has page numbers, so you would include the page numbers if it had any, but this one does. So okay, so that about does it as far as a brief introduction to the EBSCOhost, at least. But if you go back to the databases catalog, you can scroll down, you look at, there's a lot of different databases. They have brief descriptions of them, so you might find a database that is a little bit more specific to your topic. So this one right here is going to be more business oriented. This one right here, college, so there's going to be some stuff with education, culinary arts, criminal justice. So you would just cruise through and see if there are any ones that are specific to your topic that might be very helpful for you guys. All right, y'all. Well, that about does it for this video.